Through my research, the earliest times of taxes actually started way before now, of course. But all of these issues that I've been going through actually applies to the ancients as well, because the earliest gripes about taxes dated all the way back to ancient Egypt. In fact, according to taxworld.org, taxes are considered a problem by everyone. Not surprisingly, taxation problems date back to earliest recorded history. With that, we are going to start with ancient Egypt. In ancient Egypt, according to the University of Pennsylvania, there's this one time in the Old Kingdom where a phrase was referred to as the following of Horus. And it is a time where the scribes, that's what they were called then, tax collectors, were mandated to collect from the citizens of Pharaoh. And of course, the Pharaoh was very strict. But with the economy at that time of bartering, what they paid their taxes with varied. And that was between cattle, grains, or human labor. The human labor was divided into either military servitude or actually working down in the tombs. Preferably, I would join the military instead of actually being cooped up inside a tomb somewhere with a dead body or whatever curse that they have in those pyramids back then. So if I were me, that would be military servitude. The farmers back then in ancient times were heavily taxed only because they were the ones who produced a lot of the grains. They were the ones who produced or cared for the cattle. And so they were the ones who paid the majority of the taxes. Sadly, the rates back then were very erratic, and depending on the pharaoh who was at that time ruling them, it depended on him because he is God, he is deity. So whatever he says goes. Moving on to the ancient Greece, according to Brill Online, the Greece society were known for at least two taxes. There's the esphoria and there's the metoikion. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but take my word for it. There you go. Esphoria is a tax directly imposed to the wealthy at that time. And usually they heavily relied on the wealthy to provide finances to support the war effort. Kind of like how we are in right now, pretty much. It came to a point where the war effort was so expensive, it required for the wealthy to pay 200 talents, and back then that was a lot of money. Moving on to the metoikion. This is a tax for the non-Greeks, those who are half-breeds, those who are foreigners, and of course, freed slaves. It's a monthly tax against such citizens because the Greeks are very notorious about their prejudices against other people besides themselves. And in addition to that, actually, these foreigners were referred to as medics, and they have to be registered first before they would be able to pay such taxes towards the Greeks. Lastly, we are going to refer to the Roman Empire. In the Roman Empire, the tax collectors were known for being the publicans. They're pretty much the bad guys because they always hiked up the tax rates that they have. And again, depending on the emperor at that time, they could jack up the prices, they could jack up the taxes, and for the most part, the publicans would pocket the rest of them. That's why they were so hated. It even recorded in Bible times, these tax collectors. One of them is very notorious, which is Zacchaeus, and the other one is who happens to be the disciple of Jesus Christ himself. That's Matthew. In fact, Jesus himself paid his own taxes, and that is recollected in the book of Matthew, chapter 17, verses 24 to 27. In conclusion, we have briefed through a brief history of taxes through the ancients, and with all the bribes that I've had, apparently they similarly had the same things too. So, with that being said, I'd rather stick with the rates that we are in right now with regards to taxes compared to the ones from before. Because I don't even know if I can afford it. I don't even know if I can pay those such taxes or if I'm free enough to make my own choice of paying such taxes. So, with that being said, I hope you have enjoyed my speech. Thank you.